We've all been there. It's 2 a.m., you just finished the last page of your book, closed the cover, and now you're wrecked. Or elated, shocked, frustrated, distraught, or maybe a combination of so many emotions you can't put a name to what you're feeling.
But there's an ache in your chest, and all you want to do is turn to someone who knows what you just went through, who you can talk about that favorite scene with, swap theories about the sequel, gush over the hottie your main character landed.
You might try to explain it to your significant other, suggest the book to a colleague, or swap a couple surface-level thoughts with a friend who read it years ago. But there's no one who truly gets it. No one who will tear each moment apart with you, put it all back together, and start the next great read by your side. But what if we told you that now there's someone who will?
I'm Brooke.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Elena.
And we're the High Ladies of the Book Court. Let's read your next favorite book together.
Hi everyone. Today we're talking about House of Flame and Shadow, chapters 1 through 15. So excited. Read this book immediately the night it came out. So in this episode and future episodes for this book, we're going to be discussing things that are that might overlap with the Court of Thorns and Roses. And by might, we will definitely be talking about things that overlap with the Court of Thorns and Roses, and potentially with the Run of Glass. TBD. Not a lot in this one, I don't think, but maybe.
But we promise we'll leave that for the end, right? We're gonna put it at the end if we have to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Brooke will take it out if we don't.
Gonna make my editing harder.
Sorry, Brooke.
Isn't this book beautiful? I just love it.
So beautiful.
I like the inside.
The inside's gorgeous. If you don't own a copy yet, look at this. Look at it. Look at how pretty it is.
By the way,
do you guys know who this lady is?
No.
Like, should we know who this lady that keeps recurring on all the covers
What are
is?
your guesses?
Well, so I think it's really interesting that it's the same cover as the first one, but like, dark version. Because in the first book I thought it was Bryce on the cover. And then now I'm just wondering if it's like Bryce Goddess mashup. That's my current theory. I don't know which one, because I can't keep track of all of them. I don't know, but
Thought maybe Lydia.
it's cool.
Guys, it's a cave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
It's
know.
a star in a cave. You knew that?
You know where we've spent all 15 chapters?
Now that I look at it from far away, I can see there's an entrance.
There is, yeah.
I mean,
Guys, is anyone else getting Minds of Moria from all the cave scenes? Or is it
yeah.
just me?
what is that?
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's why.
It's Lord of the Rings, Jamie.
Oh god, do I have a story for you guys about that?
That is gonna
About Lord of the Rings?
be
I
on
feel like I told you this.
All right, now
If
you
you guys
gotta
want to
tell us.
know, I'll tell you on Discord, and then whoever wants to know, join us on Discord.
Oh, I love that. It's gonna be in Discord, guys. Everybody come over to the Discord and chat
Ask
with us
me
because
on
we're
Discord.
lonely.
Plug for Discord.
But yeah, no, I'm glad we started with the cover because I think there's been a lot of speculation about the cover. But yeah, do you guys have any other thoughts of who it could be? What it could be? I think Lydia's a
I kind
great.
of don't want it to be the Viper Queen.
Oh no,
The snake, the hands.
the snake is definitely. I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's got like a moon in her chest and a star on her forehead.
Did you guys see the Pegasus?
The Pegasus? No.
So if you look on like her right, or I guess her left shoulder. There's a Pegasus right here. If you look at my screen.
Oh.
And I
Oh.
think there is also a Pegasus on the Sky and Breath cover, too.
Have we seen a Pegasus literally anywhere in any of these books yet?
Like Jelly Jubilee?
Maybe, yeah.
Is Jelly a unicorn or a Pegasus?
Pegasus. I think I could have sworn she had
I
a
think
name.
a Pegasus.
Yeah, I think she's a Pegasus. That's it. Yeah, I'm still thinking it's Bryce, honestly. Like, I think it's Bryce. I think we're just, like,
Right.
pointing out that Bryce is not everything that we think she is. Like, and not in a dark way either, just, like, in a badass goddess way.
Who else thinks that on her arms are word marks?
Oh my god, I
Well-
was just thinking about that.
Well, since we said we weren't going to talk about Throne of Glass.
Oh, shit.
See, this is exactly what I was saying. This is going to be hard.
Totally forgot. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Not a spoiler.
We're
Not
gonna
spoiler.
keep this in, right?
Oh yeah, this is in. We're gonna try to be specifically spoilery potentially about Throne of Glass at the end. We'll warn you. But yes,
Okay.
also thought that, Jamie. Good catch.
I was gonna say
Um,
maybe skip over it or whatever.
No, no, I love it. I love it. I just think that it's beautiful.
bad.
I think with this book, I've been trying, definitely taking so many notes. I've been tabbing. It's a good
Let
time.
me see that again.
There's some tabs. We got some tabs. I got
Mhm.
tabs.
Oh, impressive. Ooh, I like the colors.
Thank you. I did think about it too long, so I'm glad you appreciate the color scheme.
Is there a color for Hunt?
There's a color for Hunt and Bryce. Unfortunately, have not been able to use it yet in 15 chapters because Hunt and Bryce aren't doing so well, guys.
What
They're just-
about when he was simping all over for her?
It was too sad. I couldn't bring myself to tab
Oh,
it. Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
like, my wife, my mate.
Yeah. I did like that. I mean like I hated it, but I liked it. In that Hunt is all like, "Oh, I'm definitely not making it out of here, but as long as I can like resist torture long enough, then maybe I'll give Bryce enough time to like find reinforcements to save Midgard." And I'm like, "Wow, dark, bud. Like you're going to make it out of here. That's one thing I'm sure of." Almost everybody else in this book, no idea. You're making it out.
You have a lot of hope for Hunt.
I do. I think he's just got that like main character plot armor personally. And yeah, I think he's gonna make it out. Elena, you do not. You think he's a goner? He's dead, Zo?
He's a goner, but I don't think he's guaranteed life. Like Bryce, definitely guaranteed life. Hunt,
Yeah.
uncertain. Like they could always kill him. Like he could always
Mhm.
die, and she could end up alone or with someone else or something.
You don't foresee a scene in which like Bryce and not Bryce, Hunt and Cassian are just like standing against a wall, like arms crossed, and being like, "Our ladies are very hard to be with, and we love them anyway." Like I gotta see that. I need that scene in my life.
But canon now.
What happens?
Yeah, right?
Nesta and Bryce are gonna be BFFs, so it'll be amazing.
That's a tab in here. That is like a pink tab somewhere in here, and I just wrote like, "Oh my god, new besties."
Yeah, it's already building to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Before we dive into Bryce, do we want to talk any more about Hunt? Do we want to talk about characters? There's so much going on in this book. I genuinely don't know how to break it down. Like,
How about
do
we
we-
start with the prologue? And I don't know if you
That's
guys
Good.
a great.
I love it. Yeah, so we went from cover to cover inside pages to prologue. Thank you.
Yes. And I just want to ask, has anyone read like the synopsis for this? Like, does anyone know any info about this? Have you been spoiled by the marketing at all? Like, I know Sarah kind of released like the first line of I think it was the prologue.
No. I will say now that I can share this, but the thing that was shared on Instagram that I sent to you guys, and then you were like, don't want to see it. It was one of the lines from one of the chapters we read. And it was just like a 2-sentence thing that contained Nesta and Bryce like in the cave. And I was excited because we kept going back and forth wondering if this book would be entirely in Midgard because it's a Crescent City book, or if it would go back and forth. And I was like, okay, There it is, because there's no way the Crescent City book is only in Prithian. Like, it has to also be in Midgard. So I knew it was going to go back and forth. But that was it. That is all I know.
Yeah. It was when the worm was chasing them, which is hilarious. It was very funny reading the scene.
I was rooting for the Midgard worm. I was like, oh my goodness, Midgard worm.
What?
I'm sorry.
Okay, to the prologue.
Jamie,
Back to the prologue.
you had a question. I think you were going somewhere with that, asking if we had seen any marketing or anything.
Yeah, if you guys were like spoiled or had like some preconceived notion about the prologue or at all. For me, I wanted to go in blind. Like, I didn't want to know anything about it. I didn't read the synopsis. So reading the prologue for the first time was amazing.
Oh.
Sad. It's totally sad, but it made me very excited because we have Lydia's POV. And I got kind of sad afterwards. I mean, also because of the content, but like sad that this might be the only POV that we would get from her.
Mm.
And then I was so excited when we got more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was so psyched.
I've been noticing we've been getting a lot of different POVs, which I really appreciate. Like, very different POVs.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Elena?
Yeah. I was just like going in, I didn't know anything, and I was very worried I was going to open the prologue, and it was going to be a random character I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Sophie so-and-so. Who the... Rest in peace, Sophie.
Sorry, Soph.
Yeah, I loved the prologue. The night we got home after we went to the midnight release, I had Ideas of Granger that I was going to read like the first 5 chapters, and I read the first sentence of the prologue and went, you know what? That's badass enough. I'm okay, and I went to sleep. That was how we did.
To be fair, it was like 1.
It was very, very early.
Very late. Yeah. I read the prologue and then tried to go to sleep after. So this was like 1 a.m. or 1:30 or something like that. I could not fall asleep. I was just like, my mind just like kept thinking of all like different scenarios of what could happen. Couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that prologue was
I knew if I started it, that was going to happen. So I didn't.
I think we all kind of knew. Like, we knew that, like, Hunt and Rune and Baxian were not going to be in a good place, and they just threw us right in there. Like, just right in.
I feel like I've hated Pollux for a while, but all these scenes, like, progressively throughout the book have just made me continually hate him more. He is the grossest.
I don't hate him more now than I did before, because it just wasn't possible. It was just, we were already like, I was already laying on the asphalt for him. That was it. No further down can we go.
I was hoping Hawk would kind of like maybe be another double agent or something, but
no. That made me sad too.
It doesn't seem like it, but I will posit that like everyone also thinks that Lydia is still on the side of the baddies. So I did realize that there is still a chance that maybe Hawk is like someone cool that could potentially like be neat. But yeah, he seems awful.
Bad.
Yeah. I also I kind of forgot how bad torture can be when you're immortal adjacent and you're insides can heal. I was like, oh wow, this is bad. I don't like any of this.
Oh, there were some lines that were like it was almost nonchalant. Like, oh, Rune can't swallow because his tongue is still growing back. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and just in case anyone's like reading this, they're watching this and not reading the book because, I don't know, you just decided you're never reading it for some reason and you're watching this. I'm not going to tell you to stop because, I mean, we'll tell you everything that happened, but I don't want to like trigger anybody, but there were internal organs that were on the outside and I was just like, this is gross. This is gross. Yeah.
It's still funny at times. Like when they all stick out their tongues, when they're all like, me first.
And they were all laughing together.
Yeah.
Funny in a cringe way, but like
funny in a real sad way.
Yeah, it's more, I wasn't like laughing. It was more, I was smiling because I'm so happy that the three of them have each other. And like, I'm so glad that we still have Baxian. Like, he was such a great addition in the last book, and I love him. And just like Rune and Hunt, like being there for each other. Like, Rune, like purposely saying things because he can see like Hunt's eyes just like turning into pools of depression. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so great.
Trust they have in each other that they know none of the other ones are going to break. Like, even Baxian, they were like,
Yeah.
my guy's a G. Like, he is with us. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been Danica's mate.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the honor that he's like showing for her by being so strong, because he doesn't even know about the whole Lydia thing. Like he knows about everything else, but it's like, yeah, they're not breaking. They're like allowing their tongues to be taken out, and just, yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing with those three is I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of how they've pulled together. And I'm just like upset with Rune, guys. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to be upset with Rune? Am I being? No, are you also upset with him, Jamie?
I feel like it's understandable. It's just it's hard because I want them both to be in a good place.
Yeah.
But I just know they need time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's hard to read because you fell in love with this couple in the second book.
Yeah. Oh, all of it, all
Mad
of
at
their little
him.
scenes together just keep breaking my heart. What
I
was that,
know.
Elena?
I was just thinking, like, I'm not mad at him because I feel like it's never on scene, but they're pretty deeply implying that Lydia's doing some of the torture, at least to some of, like, there's no way as their main torturer she isn't expected to be involved to some level, which would make it hard.
I kind of took it as like she is ordering the torture, but not actually performing it, because we really haven't
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it.
Yeah. But just like the moments where she and it's interesting because we kept getting her point of view for the longest time, and she's like, I'm like going back into the hind and like making my face a stone wall, but like, allowing Rune glimpses. And then I think it's like one of the last chapters that we read. Forget who's looking at her, but it's very clear. Oh, it's
Arian.
it's when she
Arian?
goes, it's when she goes to like the Theri and Ethan crew and is like, I basically need you guys to help me save Rune. Like, I think it's Therian, can tell
Yeah.
like how hurt she is. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, I don't think you're hiding it as well as you think you are. Like, it's leaking out of the corners.
I think she is doing a good job.
You think so?
Ever since, yeah. I think just because, and this is why I'm so proud of Lydia, because I didn't know how she was going to get out of this or help them get out of it without like maybe sacrificing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because how was she going to get Rune to forgive her? So I'm proud of her for like going to see his friends to help help them. Yeah. And and then kind of dropping her her mask, I think is a way to get them to trust her a little bit. Although I think it was Flynn or something. He was starting to piss me off.
Tristan. Yeah. Tristan, all of the scenes with all of them, I keep like trying to keep all of them separate, and they're all just like, like, oh no. Oh no.
How do you feel about these side characters?
Right. Oh no, I love them. And I know that they're all individual, but especially in the scenes where they're like back and forth dialogue, I keep having to be like, wait, who said what? And that's why I was like, somebody saw that Lydia's like mask was slipping.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but for Lydia, I am just so scared. Like, she is the one that I am the most scared for at this point. And like, if she doesn't make it out of this book, I will be crushed. Like, just absolutely crushed.
Yeah. Break my heart if something bad happens to her.
Someone make me feel better. She's gonna be okay, right?
She's gonna do it. No, I think she's true. I feel like they keep alluding to her backstory about how she ended up with her dad and what her past was like, but we're not getting the full thing. So I think we'll get that at some point. And I think her plan's gonna work. Like, whatever it is, she seems to be thinking it out pretty far. Like, she's not gonna half-ass a plan.
Yeah.
Like with the queen trying to get her to torture the lady, I think, whatever that lady, the hag. I think she wanted her to not torture her. Like, I think that
Absolutely.
was the reaction she wanted. And then asking the other sprites if they trusted her, like, going to Rune's friends. Like, I have full faith in this plan.
Yeah. I also have full faith in this plan. I think my biggest concern with the plan is now Rune's plan. Is like Rune is now like, we need to escape. And I'm like, guys, just communicate better and then you would be fine. But yeah, I don't even want to like talk about that because you brought up a really good point and with the Queen sprite whose name I do not know how to pronounce.
I wrote in my notes Queen Eye because I can't pronounce
Yes.
it either.
I'm gonna pull up my notes because it's just like I said it 5 times in my head, like every time it came up, and every time it just went right out of my brain again. And I don't know why. I think it needs to start like ITH, but it doesn't. It's like Erythius or something. Like Queen Erythis. I think Erythis. I don't know. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, I also fully thought that Lydia was testing her to see like what her personality was like. Are you going to jump on torture if I give it to you? Are you against the asteri? Like where do your loyalties lie? I have no idea what she's going to use her for. No freaking clue, but it definitely was a test.
So excited. She seems so powerful. Like, I'm so excited for her to break this fire sprite out of her little glass bubble she's been kept in and free all the mystics.
Yeah. Do we think
I don't know
there's
if they're
any
actually gonna
chance-
free.
Does the queen sprite have the ability to like bring other sprites back to life? Like res deads? No, nobody thinks we might.
I will tell you my theory that there is going to be an undead button
Yes.
because all the spirits are in the undead palace or whatever, and they're not dead. Like, the fact that you can go talk to them on an island that's just across the ocean doesn't seem fully dead to me.
Yeah, me neither.
True.
And like also because in Prithian aren't Fae immortal? Not like 600 years immortal? Or are they 600 years
are-
immortal?
No, they are far more immortal because the reason that Midgardians are less immortal is because of the drop magic that's being sucked from them. They're basically like foisting over most of their immortality because the asteri want to use it for their iPod chargers.
I see. So anyway, I think they're like that little like drop of power that's left on that random island that isn't like actually an underworld is them still being alive and therefore
Okay.
being
Yeah.
able to be resurrected in some way if
I'll
given
take
power.
Anyway to get Lahapa back. Anyway. I'll just keep
Oh,
up.
that's not who I'm spinning this theory for.
I know who you're spinning the theory for, and none of us understand.
Well, Hypaxia's like necromancy skills got to come into play some way.
Right. At some point, we have to necrom somebody out of the dead. That's gonna happen. Because you brought up Cormac, Elena, you did notice that there was a very much like, we're not going to sail his body across the waters, and then like there's no body to sail, and I was like tabbing this line.
He's dead. Where would he be if he's not dead? Like, we've gotten 8 Cormac is dead references.
Right, but like the more you say Cormac is dead, the less he seems dead.
I was gonna say it's a little suspicious now if you count the number of times.
It's like every time they were like, "Oh, I just went back to like check one more time for Lahaba's body, and it wasn't there." I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why it wasn't there.
I thought we've already established that you just don't like how Sarah writes deaths, and that
That's
could
also
very
possible.
much be this situation.
I'm gonna live out my whole life with this conspiracy theory.
I
But,
still think
okay.
he's dead.
So you guys think that Cormac is legitimately dead? Like the only way he's coming back is if like we do some necromancy or something. Okay.
If he comes back, it'll be the first thing we say in our episode.
Yeah. Guys, this is the
An
episode.
apology to Brooke.
Like, spoiler alert, Cormac's alive. Okay, good. I'll take that. Because it would be really fun if he just like walked into the dungeon and was like, "Are you guys ready to get on a submarine?" And we're all like, "What?"
But he has to be like alive, not like spirit ghost.
No, I mean like Agent Silverbow busts in
Okay.
and is like, Lydia
Just
sent
wanna,
me.
like
Yeah. So who else are we? What do we think Rune's plan is? Like, does anybody have an idea of how he's going to mess up Lydia's plan with his plan? Because that's what I think is going to happen.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe he can break into someone's mind. Like the only power he has right now is his mind speaky thing. And
Mhm.
like if his power works the way Reese's power does, then he could like hypothetically destroy Pollux's mind or take it over, and I don't know if he can get people to do what he wants in it. Uncertain.
Yeah.
But I think so.
It could be a skill that he unlocks under trauma.
Yeah. I don't remember if he has those powers yet. I don't
He
think he
doesn't,
does.
but
Yeah.
I think either in this book or in Sky and Breath, it mentions how, could it be something that he could do?
Mm. Yeah, that would be cool. Like, if I were Rune, that's at least something to try. Like, see if you can like break Pollux's mind while he's torturing you. But
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, because he doesn't really have a whole lot else at his disposal, right? But I also think that it was very on purpose that he went to Lydia. And like he went to Lydia and gave her information, and like, is that how he's crafting his plan? Like, is he trying to throw her in a weird direction? Because really all he told her was like, hey, Bryce tried to get to hell and she failed, and we know that because the two princes of hell that we're like besties with told us that she's not there. But I don't know how that would get them what they need.
Can we talk about the Princes of Hell?
Yes.
What is going on with
No idea.
Hell? Because I feel like we've gotten a lot about like, oh, Hell is the only world that's connected to Midgard through some weird northern wall.
Rim.
And maybe we knew this, but also like they can just essentially portal into wherever they want to.
Yeah, can confirm we did know that before. That like the Northern Rift is basically walled off because it's like anything can come in and out. And I liked that Lydia thought about the fact that she's always considered it like so nothing could get out, but it's also so nothing can get out of the rift into them, but it's also so nothing can like leave through the rift. And I think that, it makes sense that the wall is up because Regulus is worried that potentially Hell could come back and try to take them out again because they got really close the last time. But yeah, I don't know where Hell is. I'm starting to think it's just a separate planet.
Seems like.
I know, I kept going back and forth like, oh, it's Prithian Hell? Wait, no. I keep going back and forth.
No, because there's one paragraph where they mention that there are 3 worlds that have beaten the asteri. Hell, where whatever the world Prithian is in is called, which we still don't know. And then I think they say another.
Oh, they do.
Oh, what do you?
Isn't it like a different name?
It is.
What is it?
There's another planet
Your
that
notes.
has gotten the asteri out from.
Are we
where they
assuming it's?
I don't know. I can't talk about it.
Moving on.
Moving
But
on.
anyway,
Yes,
I
there's
feel
3
like
planets.
that paragraph makes it pretty clear that it's 2 separate planets. At least in my head, it kind of cleared it up.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. But I don't know what's going on there, to be honest.
I don't even know what's going on.
Right.
So your question is, who sent Bryce to Prithian? Or how did she?
Bryce sent herself. Like, I am very convinced
Oh,
of that.
okay.
Because, like,
But does
Bryce,
she think that's...
well, because she keeps mentioning, like, did I come here for Truth Teller? Like, she thinks that her power and the Star Sword, like, brought her to Truth Teller. I think it's bigger than that, but I do think it's that basically, like, it's like making a wish and you think you know what you're wishing for, but she's wishing for like, I need a force that can take down the asteri, and she thinks that she should go to Hell for that, but she's really supposed to be going to Prithian for that, which I think has become fairly obvious because Regulus is like losing his mind about where is she? And like, I hope she didn't go to the place with the big bad guys with all the magic that could potentially kill us.
The big guys with all the big bad guys with all the magic. I think it's the planet with the big bad weapon thing that can hurt us. That's down a very long tunnel.
Yeah. Well, and it's just that Prithian's done it once before. We know that for sure.
Mhm.
Like we found that out in Silver Flames. And it's interesting, you know, that they've got a different name. They were the Daglin in Prithian when they were there, not the Asteri. But yeah, I mean, it's like they've done it once before. They can do it again, and I think Regulus like realizes that and is hoping that Bryce isn't there, but she most def is.
Watching him lose his mind is so entertaining.
Yeah. I just keep being really nervous that like he knows more than he's letting on to. And every time that Lydia is around him, I'm just like, at what point is he gonna turn to you and be like, I know that you are betraying me?
I'm scared.
So scared. But I felt a little better. I forget who was saying it. I think it was Lydia was confirming for the group of all the bros that it was really Celestina selling them out that made it so that the plan didn't work. So I'm hoping that that is the case, and Regulus and like the Asteri are not as like all powerful and overseeing as I fear that they could be.
Worried about them catching on to the plan at all until she was like, let me skip this important ball that they expected me to be at. That made me a little bit nervous.
A little bit, yeah. It's like, girl, I don't think your period's that bad. Like, does this actually get you out of important things?
It just felt very suspicious.
Yeah.
But also,
right.
men don't know a lot of things, so.
That is fair. That is fair.
Mm-hmm.
And Regulus is like even more clueless than a man because he's like a all powerful like tick thing inside of a teenage fae body.
Weird choice too.
Yeah. That's how they make me feel. Like they're creepy, crawly little ticks.
They're parasites. Who's the
They
one that said
are.
that?
I think Bryce keeps calling
Right.
them like 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 world hopping parasites.
Intergalactic.
Yeah, intergalactic colonialist like parasites. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Can we talk about that next, by the
Yeah,
way?
I think we should. We need
That
to
was
talk more.
chapter 1.
We need to talk more about our Midgard folks, but I think we go back and forth because I have to say half of this book is going exactly how I pictured it would, and the other half is not anything like how I pictured it, and that's Bryce's half.
That,
Really? That's so interesting.
like, did you think they were going to be BFFs sooner?
I didn't. I definitely foresaw the like this is very weird and we need to take this very seriously, especially like after what the Akatar crew went through in Silver Flames. Like I get the immediate hesitancy. I just did not foresee this like 15 chapter long that is still going like cave crawl. Like I feel like I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons and doing a dungeon crawl, honestly. And we picked the 3 most random characters. Like why is our team up Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel? Like,
I love it. Can I just say, I am the biggest fan. I am living for the cave moment. Every time they're like, and it's Bryce, we're back in the cave.
I don't dislike it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. I just keep reading it. Like at first I was like, oh, what a weird idea to winnow down to where the like creepy monsters are that we've known about for several books that eat people. And like, Bryce, what do you think you're gonna find down there? And then all of a sudden she's like, and I did it. And I was like, well, of course you did. You're Bryce. And then it's like, okay, you found a tunnel. Like, I wonder how far this goes. And then when Nesta came to pick her up, I was like, well, of course. Now let's go get to like the political discussions that I had foreseen that, you know, you're going to go meet Feyre. You're going to fall in love with Feyre because she's the only one that makes any sense. And then like, we're going to go fight for Midgard. I was like, what is this cave crawl?
They just keep going. Why?
Keep going.
Give it
and then
Well, wait, Elena, what was that?
Just giving Minds of Moria in a more animated.
Yes. Yeah. I love
so
it.
is that something I can just like rewatch in the Lord of the Rings movies? Or is that like
Yeah, you
In
can.
the extended edition, I don't
Okay.
know if you get the same. It's just they're in caves for a really long time, and every time they turn around, there's weird noises in the back.
Is it equivalent to Harry Potter and out there all tenting in the forest?
No.
No.
It's an abandoned mine, like an abandoned mine where everyone was killed by a big evil thing. And then they have to cuts through where they need to go, so they're in it for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Or a few nights or something. And every time they stop, there's weird noises in the dark, and you can't be loud. And they don't exactly know where they're going. They like vaguely know where they're going.
At the
So
beginning of this
just like the
episode,
trio.
I thought about saying, just like Harry Potter, we now reserve the right to spoil anything about Lord of the Rings for you, and we do now. That's okay. We can do that now.
Sorry, guys.
Elena, tell us, like, what is it about these scenes that are just like giving you life?
First of all, I think Nesta and Bryce's interactions are so funny. Like the fact that it's Nesta down in these caves. Like, first of all, how did they get Nesta down in some caves? My girl didn't used to refuse to cut firewood, and now she's slumming it in some caves. And then Bryce jumps into the river thing, and Nesta's like,
Nesta went with-
Dove right in. Yeah, and I did have to also remind myself, Nesta went through a lot of personal growth in that large book of hers. So I wasn't as surprised, but I did also have a moment where I was like, first of all, why did Nesta sign on for this? Second of all, how did Cassian agree to it? Like, is he screaming at Reese right now? Like, what have you done with my wife?
oh, my theory is Nesta definitely just decided to do it and went off without telling him. And he's up above ground, like, pacing.
Yeah, right.
I could see him do that.
He's like over by the prison, because personally I think that's where we're coming out. But
That's
he's just,
definitely
like,
where we're coming out.
yeah, it's like trying to figure out where she's at. But yeah, it's my mind just keeps like trying to figure out like what is up with this, because I very early, like the minute that there was a weird cave in with a bunch of shadows and then Nesta was like, oops, I guess we just keep going. I was like, oh, okay, so this is like Bryce's test. Like they're testing Bryce. Like I knew immediately that's what this was. But just like there's got to be more than that. Is it like, is Nesta down there because they're trying to figure out like what the made object is? But then in my mind, it's like, if they figured out that her tattoo is a made object, we're only missing one, guys. Like, there's only one missing made object. So why are we confused about what it is? I don't know.
You think the horn is the one missing made object from Akatar?
Yeah.
Interesting, because I really thought the end of the tunnel is gonna end in whatever the last made object is.
So it made sense to me the minute that Amryn and Nesta started saying that it was made. Because the only thing that I remember about the missing, like the missing made object, was that it was made of bone. And I have to assume that the horn, that's what it counts as. Like a horn is a
We're
bone.
both like,
Say what?
Damn.
The minute they said that, I had a thought and I was like, wait a minute. Oh.
you
Wait,
remember that?
this makes sense. I think that was like the like missing made object is something that I've just been like obsessing over and looking for a really long time. So the minute that they said that, I was like, wait, how is this made? Oh. Horn is bone. Okay. That, yeah. Probably should have put two and two together. But yeah.
What her tattoo actually says? Like, did they ever actually read it and say,
No.
"Oh my
Brooke,
god"?
did you freak out?
I did, because I was like,
I knew
oh my
it.
god.
I knew
No,
it.
because you know those books were in the antiquities dealership, and
Mhm.
you know that Danica spent a lot of time there looking up some stuff. So she definitely found the Book of Breathings, maybe like found a very significant like sentence or something and tattooed it onto Brace, and then was like, oh yeah, it says through love all is possible, but it's actually really just a summoning portal for things. Like, I don't know. Yeah, very cool. How long do you guys think we're gonna be in the cave?
Close.
You think we're close,
Can't be
Elena?
that. There can't be that long left. Like, they did their betrayal of each other, big reveal, fighting the Midgard worm. Nesta already put her mask on, which I didn't love. I didn't love the use of the mask. I feel like there were other ways to resolve that issue,
Mhm.
i.e. just give Bryce her sword.
Right.
But, like, we've gone through a lot of conflict in these caves, and I think it's about time they get to the end and then have to come together. Like, we've almost reached friendship, and I think it's a cave of friendship. When the friendship forms, the cave ends.
Do you think they'll make friendship bracelets at the end?
Oh.
Bryce would make no one would make them except Bryce. Bryce would make everyone a little friendship bracelet and then force them to wear it.
I'm also hopeful for that because I did start to get a little worried because again, it's not that I dislike Cave. I didn't think Cave was going to last this long, and then I started getting worried about like does the cave last until like the very end of the book, and like the end of the book is her going back to Reese and basically Nesta and Az being like she cool, and then Reese being like okay, I guess we'll be your army. And I'm hoping that happens in like the next 4 chapters. And
The
obviously
next
it's
chapter.
yeah, like and obviously I'm not hoping for like an immediate yeah, we'll go fight your cause. I'm hoping that like the next half of the book is like okay, tell us about your world, let's figure out how we could help and then why we should help. But
The end of the tunnel isn't a 4th trove item. What's at the end of the tunnel?
oh, I have no idea. Personally, I think that carving of the archway was a portal with the stars around it, and then the like man in it holding out his hand. I don't know who he was, but he's definitely someone important. So I don't know if it's like we're gonna find the portal that they like took everyone out of Prithian to like send them over to Midgard. If that's gonna like help them, well, because the problem that we have right now is that we know that Nesta can open portals. Like that's pretty obvious, but I'm wondering how they're going to be able to get the forces from Prithian to Midgard.
I don't think it's the forces. I feel like there's enough plot going on in ACOTAR itself that like it doesn't make sense for all the characters to go over to Midgard, which is why I
Mhm.
thought it was going to be some sort of weapon.
Mm.
That's totally fair. And I think that they did mention like a weapon was how they killed the Daglin the first time. So maybe that is what it is.
I think I took
Yeah.
it as very
I know.
surface level and Bryce bringing armies and not an actual like one item weapon.
I do feel like
But
a
that makes
one
a lot of
item.
sense now.
Yeah, but no, but I kind of agree with you, Jamie. Like, I think a weapon would be good, but not like a one button press weapon handles the whole
Mhm.
situation, but maybe like something more like weapony, but maybe it's like a book or something that teaches them something that they need to know, or like
Like
a
a
magic
specific
thing.
book that you're kind of leaning towards.
Well, the only book that I don't, well, no, because The Walking Dead is also on the show. I can't talk about The Walking Dead, but The Book of Breathings is with Jessica. So,
Well, The Walking Dead was in the antiquities, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe
Don't know
yeah.
how I
And
don't know how it got there, but yeah.
I don't know how it got there, but I think it was saved, right?
Yes.
Before yeah.
I did think we were going to get more Jessica in this book so far.
I do keep
So I'm
reminding myself we're
excited
only
for
a
when
fifth
she
of the
comes.
way in. Like, this is only a fifth of the book. So I think, and she has been mentioned once. Like, they did mention Jessica. She's coming.
Yeah, we need to find out what her
Um,
true identity is.
Yeah.
can we talk about the carvings more? Like, what's up with the like? It just feels like a lot of carvings, like a day and a half worth of walking carvings. And
The
I've been trying
murals,
to think
right?
like if yeah, like if they were done by a different civilization, or if it was like all the bone carver, or like what
Oh.
we're supposed to like. I don't think it's the bone carver because he usually carves death. But it's just weird that we already had a carver, but it doesn't seem like it's that carver. So then I don't know. I've just been like,
Yeah. I don't know. I also had the thought about the bone carver. I don't know if that's supposed to be intentional though, or if we just miss him. But Yeah, I mean, I think the carvings are definitely significant, and I was trying not to spend too much time like studying each individual one to figure out like where have we seen this before or what could it mean. But I mean, my assumption is yeah, that it's like they are the carvings of the people that were taken to go to Midgard, and that they would like show how to like open the portal. Like that archway carving seemed really important to me. And like show the
Yeah.
truth of the history of the battles because it's all about like battles and whatnot. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, the archway gave me, is that Hunt's dad?
Hmm, that's possible.
But I don't know. Also, I've been trying to figure out what the like creatures that are BFF, like those could be the army, the fun little creatures that just listen to Bryce now. Well, they don't listen to her, but they didn't attack her.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got some cool powers that we still have to figure out for sure. Because I love when she was like, "Oh yeah, my power is just light." I was like, "Honey, I know you believe that, but that's not true." Yeah, I think we still have like a lot to figure out about where did the Starborn like come in the realm of like ancient Prithian? Like, were they the Dusk Court? Were they the Night Court? Were they something totally different? I don't know.
I'm just all along for the ride. I have no idea.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the carvings, Elena? Any other?
No, I just want to know. I
You
just
will.
want answers.
When we're
You
done.
will. You will know soon. You brought up Hunt, and that was something important that I think we didn't talk about while we were talking about him, but I thought it was very interesting because, we've said so many times that Hunt's dad obviously has to be very important. Like I think that he might be that god that gets thrown around a lot. But it was interesting when Adis or Apollyon, the same people,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting when they said, like, we keep an eye on you because we need to make sure that you're going to be ready to do the thing that you were born for. And I was just like, what?
Crown, and they were like, "Your crown. Have you wondered why Rigulus did it?" And he was like, "I don't know, because he's the worst." And they were like, "But is it the same?" And he was like, "No."
It's not.
Then what is it? What is it? Like, why would Rigulus put something that would help him on it? But it made it seem like it was going to help him.
I don't know. Honestly, it's definitely important. It's got a tab. I don't know why they're different. My assumption is that Regulus's is not going to work as well as it should. That's my assumption. Is that he is pompous and full of himself and was just like, boop, here you go, have a crown. When it's like usually they would have the like powerful witch person do it. But I don't know why or how that's going to be important. So much. There's so much. Elena,
And empty.
Elena, you also mentioned that you did not like the mask, and I felt the same exact way. So I'm interested to hear if Jamie liked it or did not like it.
I was like, oh yeah, this again. But also, I feel like her powers just came out of nowhere. Because I could have sworn in Silver Flames, she gave up those powers. Although it was mentioned that like she has some of it. So to see it here in full display was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, because I know that was a big question of ours. Is like obviously Nesta was going to keep some of her powers, but what are they? And I was like, oh yeah, they're still here. She still got them.
Right.
In
Like, oh,
spades.
okay, cool. She's really powerful now.
Yeah.
She really got her steps in.
She's been working out like a bro. I think my biggest problem with the mask is that it did not seem warranted at all. Like it went from oh, there's this big worm that we're gonna have no problem beating, but like we should probably kill it. Basically, like I felt it was like a pest control thing. Nesta was like, we just shouldn't leave it here. Like we should probably kill it because it's bad. And then all of a sudden she was like, no, I'm going to potentially lose my entire soul to summon this like dead skeleton monster in order to have it trap it so I can stab it in the noggin. And I was just like, why? Ness, why?
Like, we saw the big skeleton, a chapter before or something, and I was like, oh no, so the worm's not what we have to worry about. It's gonna be whatever this other big thing is. And I was like, oh no, it was just so Nesta could use the mask and play with its dead skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like hoping that later on we're going to be like, oh, that's why Nesta needed to use the mask in that moment. But at this point, I'm just like, it seemed like a really weird and convenient way to show Bryce like about the trove, but just didn't feel warranted to me. Like I felt like the situation needed to be 1,000 times more dangerous in order for that to be the case. Or Nesta needed to have more control over it to use it so willy-nilly. But Az basically like had to like fight with her to keep her sanity. And I was like, this did not seem worth it for a Midgard worm. Feyre just covered herself in mud and killed the guy, so do I have a favorite sister?
Sharpened bone.
Yes.
I did find it entertaining that it was in Bryce's POV, and Bryce was like, who the heck is Cassian or Feyre or Nyx? Like, who? Who are these? They must be important.
I did enjoy that little moment. I wish that it had felt more necessary to have, but I did like that. Liked especially that Az is like trying to remind crazy Nesta about the people in her life that she loves, and when he mentions Feyre and Elaine, she gets more angry.
I thought it was more of like it's working, like she's finally coming to herself. And then when he finally said Nyx, like that's the name that triggered her to like, okay, let's get back to my true self.
Yeah. Yeah. Her nephew snapped her out of it eventually.
I thought that was really cute, and I like that it was her sisters that did it and not her friends. Sorry.
Yeah.
I did also find it quite entertaining that he didn't list Rhys in that list of people that she cares about.
Well, because I think it was the because she was like calming down when he mentioned Cassian, and then like Emery and Gwyn, she's like calming down, and then he's like, and Feyre and Elaine, and she like got upset again, and he was like, and Nyx, and then she like snapped out of it entirely. But yeah, no, she hates Rhys. I mean, she doesn't hate him anymore, but he's definitely not her favorite.
Yeah, not her favorite.
No. Which is why it's hilarious she somehow got on this very important Rhys mission.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why I didn't really care for that whole section was because Nesta keeps slandering Rhys, and I don't want to stand for it.
No, it's so funny. I get entertainment.
I know.
It's very in character. And I recognize that, like, at this point, especially with, like, the end of Silver Flames, with, like, how thankful Rhys was for her saving Feyre's life, and, like, when he threw them an extravagant mating ceremony, like, I think that, now it's mostly in, like, all in good taste.
Every moment where Nesta says something she's not supposed to, and Az glares at her.
Yeah.
Or even anytime she talks badly about Rhys, he glares at her. And it's just very funny seeing it from Bryce's POV, where she's like, I thought he was this very important king person, but this girl keeps talking crap about him.
It's very on par with Nesta's character.
Yeah. I will say, like, because I had said that they were a very random 3 mashup, but I do enjoy the 3 of them and, like, their interactions together. But I did have the thought of, like, okay, so did we choose Az for this mission because we can't have him above ground, potentially messing things up with, like, 2 other women that might be up there doing other, like, do we just need him underground, not messing things up plot-wise?
Sense having, like, between Nesta and him, it made the most sense having him there because sneaking around in the shadows is a very Az job. I felt like the other one really probably could have been anyone. Nesta is probably the best in terms of, like, becoming friends with her, but it also could have been Feyre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
or more.
We needed the sneaky guy, and then we needed the one that, like, understands the trove and made objects. And honestly, like, Nesta's probably the only person that could take her if she, like, became as powerful as a made object. So I'm guessing that's why she's down there. But I just had the thought where I was like, Are we trying to put Az on ice and make it so that he can't have any interactions with either Gwyn or Elaine during this whole part?
Do you have any thoughts on Bryce Riel after this section?
No, I had an immediate like, oh God, no, is that why? And then I was like, no, it's not. Like Bryce is so in love with
It's
Hunt.
not.
There's also absolutely no chemistry, but I immediately was like, ugh, all the Bryce Riel girls are gonna be so happy. Ugh. Sorry if you are one.
Eyes.
If you went into this book really wanting Bryce and Azriel to be together, maybe just stop now. Turn back. Go
Just
reread the
those
scenes with
moments.
Hunt. Yeah. Yeah. How is everyone feeling about like everything else that's like going on in Prithian? Like what are we thinking is happening above ground?
I'm sure Amren's like, what the fuck?
Reese is panicking, but other than that, I don't think there's anything.
Do you think that they are? Because it seems like this was the plan. Like the plan was to like cause a cave in and make it so that she had to continue on the path.
No, I know. I meant more Reese is panicking about a potential threat to the Night Court, not
Yes.
that they are in the caves.
Yes. No.
He's
I
like,
totally
more
agree.
problems. Dang it.
Yeah, and it does seem
Another
pretty
war.
right. Yeah, and they've made it fairly clear that like Regulus is looking for like has been looking for Prithian. And that they will probably go attack them is my guess. So I think Reese's hand is gonna be forced on this one.
The Asteri were trapped on Midgard, and that's why they had to set up their battery operation, because I thought that was one of the things for why their colonialism came to a rapid stop.
They are, but I'm wondering if there is a loophole in this now that they've realized that Bryce was able to get to a different place, so maybe they can harness whatever that was to get them to a different place. I.e., is there a way to use like this guy who's got a lot of lightning powers to like zip zap zoop us over to Prithian? I don't know.
Much else about Prithian, since it's mostly been caves, but I've loved the caves.
Yeah. Did
I'm
anyone
ready
else
to
think
move out of the caves.
you're ready to get out of the caves?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I want to go above ground.
Yeah. Most of my favorite people are above ground.
I want Bryce to see more of Valeris. I want her to have dinner with the crew and Elaine to cook for them.
Yeah.
I bet she baked all the provisions.
She probably did. That bread sounded really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what I had assumed more. I had really been looking forward to the scenes where Bryce like became part of the team. And I think we're still gonna get there. And I'm okay with like the progression, and I know I'm being impatient, but I feel the same way, Jamie. I want them to figure out what the cool thing is in the cave and then get up there and have them be like, okay, you seem halfway decent. Like, we'll stop keeping you in a walled cell.
More so than getting them to trust Bryce, I want Bryce to start trusting them. Like, she's so stuck up on they're gonna hand me over to the Asteri. Like, who's to say that like they're not gonna do, like, because she's so used to being betrayed by leadership in her world.
My only defense of Bryce is that she is the person in the situation that I think deserves to feel the most fear. Like she's all alone. She is in a world she has no idea how she got there. And she's got like no one there to help her. Like everybody else in Prithian has everybody else in Prithian. Like I get like having a weird person show up on your front lawn that doesn't speak your language and is carrying like a super badass sword that ends up being like a made object. Like I get that they also deserved to treat her with caution at the beginning, but I think it's on them to like extend the olive branch first, personally. Like I think they need to be like, okay, we figure you're probably not going to kill us, so like please don't, and we'll treat you better, and then like be friends with her. Show her that it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think her mistrust is warranted, and I forgot what else I was gonna say.
No, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Jamie. They haven't done too much like other than like physically torture her to show her that they should be trusted. Yeah. What do we think is coming next? Like, does anybody have any thoughts?
We are hypothesizing about who Ethan's gonna fight.
Right.
We haven't gone into like super detail about things in Midgard.
That's it.
Or,
We
like,
haven't really
that
talked
side.
about that whole
Like-
squad.
Like the Dragon Girl, Alpha Girl.
Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot.
How
I
do
thought
you
we
feel
talked
about
about
Tharian?
Darian is pissing me off.
He's actually so I think when we ended Sky and Breath, we were all kind of disappointed with him, right? I think he's starting to turn around for me. Like, I just can't help but feel really sad for him because he's just so desperate and sad boy. Sad boy Tharian.
Sad boy Tharian.
I feel like I'm more kind of frustrated with Ethan and Flynn.
Yeah. They all like are frustrating me in different ways.
I think it's hard too because like they're trying to do their best with what they have, trying to find and help their friends.
Yes, right. I totally support what they're doing because I think they're all just like panicked trying to put a plan together to save their friends. But yeah, like I don't think that, at least I didn't really get at the end of the last book, that basically Tharian now has a drug problem. Like, I didn't understand that the Viper Queen's blood was actually like a drug venom. And I was like, for real, bro? For real? So disappointed in him.
It was gross. I'm sorry.
It was
That
it was-
scene.
hard to read. And then
Him,
did he hook up with her? Like, was that the
Oh.
implication?
What?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What page?
It like the end of his first scene when like
Yeah.
right after
They hooked
he
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was just,
Oh
here's
no.
my blood.
Oh no. Straight to Pound Town after that. It's
Yeah.
just thank
How
God
did
we didn't
I
have to see
miss
it.
that?
Because you didn't want to know, Jamie, and unfortunately we told
I
you.
was trying to read it kind of quickly just to move on and see
Like,
if we get another Lydia.
Yeah.
Jamie, the quote is, "Let's see what kind of stamina you have now."
I thought it was more
That's-
for like the fights. No? Oh my god,
As
my
the fight
ears.
was over, she drugged him up, and then that was the end of the scene.
Wow.
Him being like all coked out was funny though to me. I thought that was hilarious. Him like trying not to keep passing out on the couch while people were like shooting information at him. He's like, "Hey, I'm not listening." As far as Therian goes, I know that at least I personally in the last book was really hoping that Ariadne the dragon, and Flynn were going to make it work. Like, I felt like they had like a cute little connection at the beginning and then like hated each other, so enemies to lovers, perfect.
Yeah.
Does anyone else now want her to be with Therian? Like,
Yes!
did we dig that bathroom scene? Because I dug
Yes.
it. I digged it.
What's their couple name?
No idea.
Adrian.
Arian.
I'll throw in Dragonfish.
Team Dragonfish. Yeah, it's got that like great like people from two worlds thing. Like there was just something about her like helping clean his wound and then allowing him to call her by her nickname, and I was just like, sold. Say no more. Yeah.
And then later she was like using up some of her time for him.
Yep.
That was sweet.
Yeah, I think that like she doesn't know how to express herself, and she now is like, I'm interested in this merman and I don't know why, but it can't be anything good. I just like was getting cute vibes with them, and now I'm on that train. I'm on train, what are we calling it? Dragonfish? Dragonfish?
Did
Yeah.
the Viper Queen also say that she could leave if
Correct.
Ethan wins the fight?
Yes.
Okay, so this fight is definitely set up for him to die.
Yes. I think he's fighting Sabine.
Ugh.
I could see it.
You don't.
At first, I was really worried that she was going to put Tharian in the thing across from him and be like, fight to the death. But then she was like, your friends can watch in the stands. And I was like, oh, thank God. Ethan, you didn't check that it was your friends who were fighting first?
That was
That
my
was my
first thought.
worry.
Yeah. Oh, well, and hopefully we're wrong because that was my first thought. And then I was like, no, I think that there would have been like another line because it was when she was like, your friends can watch. But maybe she'll retcon it and be like, nope, sorry. Like, you have to kill Tharian in order to leave. But I think it just seemed weird that they were talking about like how he's like, oh, you hate Sabine. Like, do you want me to kill her? And she's like, no.
Oh my God, good catch.
But maybe that's too obvious too. I don't know. Not
I
sure.
think like she's just so neutral. It's like she's not good. She's not like super bad. It's more of like
No.
she's on her own team. Whatever benefits her.
I don't hate her.
I'm not a fan of her.
No. Like I wouldn't want to hang out with her, but like I have a respect for her. Like she's still a badass female. Like she just like owns it and she gets what she wants and she keeps me guessing, which I enjoy. I just don't hate her.
Can't wrap my head around what her motives are. Because if she was truly,
Mm.
like, say, on the good side, like on the side of wanting to be helpful, then she wouldn't make Ethan fight someone random to gain their freedom. So, like, I don't know. There has to be some bigger motive, and I just haven't. I don't know.
It's gotta be someone we know.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be like, and it's a big titan. Like it's got to definitely be like a plot significant thing or
Wait.
person.
Guys, what if it's a Midgard worm? What if he shows up and it's a worm?
Another Midgard worm. But here we call them just Midgard worms or just worms.
Worm.
Ethan versus the worm.
Worm. No,
Ding,
it's
ding,
gonna
ding.
it's gonna be something that would, I think, benefit her. And it's gonna be something that would shred Ethan. And I think what we've seen is that she would probably be okay if Sabine died. But Ethan also will have a hard time ending Sabine for multiple reasons. So if that was the case, that'd be interesting. Or it's like that other random girl that it was really mean to Bryce. The wolf.
Emily.
Yeah, Amelie. Yeah.
But I feel like Ethan could win against Amelie, so it would have to be like Sabine or like Lydia, but it wouldn't make sense that it's Lydia. But Lydia was
Yeah.
right there. I don't know.
Or is it Sigrid? Is she gonna put Sigrid in
Siggy?
the?
No, I don't think so. Because I don't think she's gonna put one of his friends in. Like the your friends can watch from the stands thing kind of took me out of thinking it was gonna be one of his friends.
Yeah. How do we feel about Sigrid? Do we like her?
My girl needs to chill.
Yeah.
She
I
does.
understand she's been through a lot and it must be really hard adjusting. But my girl can't just be like, and Ethan's always like, well, she's just an alpha. Like, no, someone needs to tell this girl you can't act like a lunatic in public.
Right, because when you said that, when you said she needs to chill and that she's been through a lot, I knew you didn't mean the PTSD of like, I can't have people touch me and like, it's weird to walk around in a decaying like skin sack. I knew you meant the like constant like, I'm in charge, because I also felt the same way. I was like, I love that we came out of the tank as a strong, powerful wolf, but I need you to just like take a deep breath. Just
like that man is bad. He sells bad things to bad people. Let's kill him. Like, girl, no. Like, you have a reason for being.
Yeah, because I love the vibe. Don't get me wrong. Love the vibe, but I just need her to like understand reality a little more, to be like, we don't just charge into people's places of business and murder them.
I do like
Also
her...
to acknowledge
what?
Oh, just the fact that like she has friends that have real life problems going on, and she should be, if she's not helping it, she shouldn't be actively harming the cause.
Well, doesn't that go back to like she doesn't have a lot of like I guess social experience?
Oh,
Like would she
none.
have gotten the cues? So how would she have known?
Yeah, I think all we got now is basically that she said that she said yes to like going into tank life to save her sister, like to make sure that she had a good life. So we know it wasn't like she wasn't sold as like a baby. Like she definitely was a cognizant, like I guess werewolf. But yeah. Yeah, I
And
don't
then
think
she
she
did the
has
drop while she was in the tank somehow.
in the tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the asteri were like, sure. Yeah, iPods need charging. Go for it. Do it up.
I do like that she has like an endless of thing curiosity, basically. She's like she wants to do
Yes.
everything and learn. Um
Yeah.
and then she's really cute with the sprites.
Yeah. The sprites are adorable. I love that they still love Flynn. Like, I'm okay if Flynn is never with anyone, is just like sprite daddy. Like,
Cute.
Like the use of the word daddy in that context.
like actual daddy. Just like he is like the father figure for the sprites. Yeah. Who else? So you said, Jamie, were you saying that Flynn is annoying you?
Yeah, because it was like 2 times where he was getting on my nerves. I forget. I think the first time was with Ethan, and the second time was with Lydia. And he
Mm,
was like, how do you know Agent Daybreak? And I'm like, she is Agent Daybreak. How
she
would she know
is.
the name?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Come on, Flynn. Think through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
The main torturer, so she could have tortured the name out of someone. Like, I think there is a reality in which she is not a spy and has the name.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. I like that we're getting more of Mark. I had that thought where
Mhm. Yeah.
like Declan has had his like cool things to do with like breaking into the video camera system and whatnot, but Mark's always been like a little like in the background, and I love that he's like more in the front now.
He's the level-headed person in the group. And we all need
Yeah,
someone like that. I do like his line where he was like, "See, archangels are creepy."
because they are.
Yeah.
I had that moment where they were like, at first they were gonna like, run away, and they were like, where are we gonna go? And he was like, we should go like to Isaiah because Hunt said he was cool, and like, if Celestina finds out, it's fine because she'd chill. And I was like, no, she not chill. Like, don't go there. I was almost happy that Sabine was standing outside the door. I was like, oh, thank goodness, because that would have really blown up in their faces.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love the fact that Mark lawyered his way out. He was just like, excuse me, I need to leave for a legal
Yes.
reason.
Please see my Panther shifter rights. I'm gonna walk now. Mark's great. I want to see more Mark because it will make me less afraid for him, because right now he's still like in slight like cute but random side character status, and I'm like, but that's the easiest to kill.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Was there anything else? Am I forgetting another whole group of people that we haven't talked about? We got it.
Did we talk about do we think the plan will work at least?
No. I have no
Think
hope.
it will.
No, I
No,
think
I
that
have hope.
no.
Okay, even worse than Bryce being in a cave the entire book would be Rune and Hunt being stuck in a dungeon the entire book.
I think something is going to work. It's just not going to work as planned, because Lydia's going to be like,
Okay.
quick, I've got the sub waiting. And like Rune and Hunt and Baxian are going to be like, I don't know, like they've dug a hole in the bottom of the floor and they're just like, like belaying out, and she's going to be like, but wait. And, there's something is going to go wrong.
It makes me worry because I think Rune was ready to like sacrifice himself. in some way.
Right.
Like maybe be like the decoy or the distractor. Have Pollux and Hawk focus on him while Hunt and Axion escape somehow.
Yeah.
No, what we didn't talk about in the prologue?
What?
What was up with the scene with the two random dads? Like, why bother showing the Autumn King and Cormac's dad?
Oh.
Do we actually think the Autumn King is not supportive of his son anymore? Because I don't think he is. Like, he's a bad dude, but I think he has this weird, like, I'm gonna support my son thing. You don't think so?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I think that
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think he might be a goodie, but he's pretending to be a baddie.
That one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Was I mixing it up? Sorry.
I
Because
don't.
yeah, I'm thinking I feel like maybe he's torturing Rune all those years to kind of prepare him for the asteri or something. And if he
Interesting.
ever finds himself in that situation.
Maybe. I still think he's a baddie, but I think he's a baddie that's like loyalty to his family over all else.
Yeah, we had definitely talked about before about like is like Papa Autumn King, is he like doing all of his weird sciencey stuff to try to find like a way to get to Prithian, or like I think we had said like is it that he is trying to find like other universes? Is it a way for him to figure out the Asteri and potentially how to beat them? And honestly, at this point I think that is the case. Like Rune brought it up again and was like, no, like my dad is evil. And I was like, oh no, he's good, isn't he? Like at some point I'm gonna, oh, damn it. Like, and they twice it came up about like the cool mist shield that's outside of Avalon that like the Asteri can't get into. And I'm like, that would be a really great base of operations for like I don't know, like an incoming force from another planet.
Pro Cormac still being alive because his dad seems like a loser, which means they need someone in leadership over there to,
Yeah.
support that. But
He
yeah,
is
that scene just
definitely
read
good.
weird to me because, again, Cormac's dad seemed like the worst, and the Autumn King didn't come across. Like, he came across as, my son is dead to me, but, like, with no weight behind it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it had to have been very important to be in the prologue. And I think it's because there's going to be like a evil gone good dad team up.
It's the calm crystal. It's that little clue that has a bigger meaning later in the book.
Wait, what calm crystal clue?
In the prologue with Sophie and Sky and Breath, the Hind
Yeah.
drops the calm. No, is it the calm crystal? Some kind of crystal. Yeah, the calm
Yeah,
crystal that brings
the
the boat
stone.
over.
It's
Yeah,
the white
and we
stone that
didn't. Yeah,
calls the
right.
submarine.
And we didn't know what it was, but there was something, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
comes-
there's
Is it bad that when Bryce jumps into the river and she's like, there's so many white stones? I was like, there's no way it's the same kind of white stone, right?
But I also noticed those white pebbles and they're important and I don't know why.
Guys, good eye.
She was like, look at all those white pebbles. And then I jumped in and I was like, to get some white pebbles. And she was like, to swim to the other side. And I was like, no, you missed all the white pebbles. They're important, Bryce.
These white pebbles are gonna be useless. We just talked about white pebbles for a minute for no reason.
Could you
We'll see.
imagine?
We'll come back and we'll see if the white pebbles were important or if we're just crazy, which it's probably that we're crazy. Yeah. The only other thing that I thought of is like, what do y'all think Hypaxia is up to right now?
I hope
Being
she
a
breaks up
loser
with.
who's dating a loser.
What would you say, Elena?
You both like said the same thing simultaneously.
Say it again.
Well, I said being a loser who's dating a loser, and I think Jamie was more thinking she's not a loser and she's gonna break up with her loser girlfriend
Yes.
to date someone cooler.
I also.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're setting Lydia up to replace her, so.
Yep. Rune once again brought up the whole like, oh, well, the Sphinx told me that the line ends with me. And I was like, boy, you're not dying. You're not dying. It's fine. You and Lydia are going to get married, and then you're going to be in her line, and maybe Bryce just never comes back, and she and Hunt live in Prithian for the rest of their life. I don't know. Yeah. I also hope that Hypaxia breaks up with her.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then I'll know a lot about Hypaxia through her staying with Celestina if she knows what she did.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, you.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
What do you think we'll see Fury in June in this book?
I think eventually. I don't know. Yeah.
Excited to see June?
I'm excited? No.
Not at all. Yeah,
Fury, maybe.
Yeah. I was trying to think of other side characters, and Hypaxia was the only one I could come up with, and then you said Fury and June, and I was like, oh, I forgot about them, because I don't like them anymore. Yeah. We'll see.
Fury doesn't work for the Asteri, right?
No.
No,
she's like her own assassin person.
But it was very secretive what her job was.
Yes. What are you thinking?
Nothing. Head empty.
empty. What is that from? Oh,
when we went to dinner before the release party.
I was like, why is this ringing? Why do I know this, but I can't?
Why have we all joked about this before? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to keep reading this.
Me too.
Because I couldn't share anything with Matt. He just kept being like, so you liking the book? And I'm like, yeah. It's just like, no one's happy right now. So it's kind of hard.
I think I said that to John too.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just been dreadful.
Yeah.
This Jacob was like, so has anyone hooked up yet? And I was like, no. There's no way. Not unless you want to get on the Bryce rail train.
Yep. The only person getting some is Therian. Gross.
In the most toxic way.
How did I miss that? The innuendo. Yeah. I really thought it was so he could prep for the fight. But it's a different fight.
He was prepping for he was prepping for something, that's for sure. Gross. Yeah, gross. All right. I'm gonna try not to think about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Come hang out with us in the Discord. Officially in the Crescent City channel, we can start talking about these chapters now that the episode is posted. That's how we roll. So come chat with us. We're super excited. And we're going to be finished this book in just a few days, and we'll keep posting episodes every 2 days for you. So come back here when you've read through. Oh no, what's our next section?
6? It's through 36. I have it memorized. Don't worry.
16 to 36, guys.
Although, can I just put out a recommendation that we read through 64 instead?
No, we can't. But thank you. I appreciate your suggestion. It's been denied. So 36. 16 to 36. Come back in 2 days, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Happy reading.